Hello, welcome to the Live Reality Games Podcast. My name is Steven Stewart, and I am super excited to talk to you all today about Survivor Reelfoot Season 10, which is coming up in a week. And with me to talk about it, I have not one, but two members of Reelfoot production. I have Parker, Season 2 veteran of Reelfoot's production extraordinaire, Victory House mole survivor, and I have Pete, Season 3, am I right? Season 3, Reelfoot, among other games, Reelfoot Extraordinaire. And I'm just so grateful to have you both with me to talk today.
Thanks for having us here.
So one of the reasons why I'm super excited for this season, it's going to be airing June 4th to June 11th on the Surviving Reelfoot Facebook page. I'm very excited because you all did it. This is season 10. This is a big deal. I don't know many games that make it to season 10.
It's crazy. You know, obviously Amos couldn't be here tonight, unfortunately. He's been doing it since the start, but Pete and I have been fortunate to be doing this for 6 years now. Pete, is that right?
That's a true story. I'm 66, and I started when I was 60.
It's humbling, honestly, to see it evolve as long as it has, and that so many people love it and want to be a part of it. It's truly, not to get sentimental, it's changed my life for the better.
Well, for me, Surviving Reelfoot's been always like, it's the gateway drug into live reality games, right? Season 2 of Reelfoot and Season 1 of Reelfoot are on YouTube, and I think people stumble upon that, discover it, and Reelfoot just brings so many people into the community, which I think is amazing. And so one of the things I like to ask is, I'm sure you all aren't here to tell me exactly what you're going to do Season 10, but were there anything that you all were tossing around or thinking about to maybe do for Season 10 that didn't leave the drawing board? Did you have some crazy ideas what to do for the 10th season anniversary of your game?
Well, we definitely, one thing Amos, P, and I like to do is we definitely like to have our brainstorming meetings. You know, we like to just throw out ideas, right? No idea is a bad idea. You know, so we couldn't do everything we wanted to because some of the ideas were crazy when you actually put them in practice. But I'm really happy with what we settled on at the very least. And if there's stuff that didn't happen, we may see in a future season. Well, what do you think, Pete?
Yeah, I agree. That's exactly what I was going to say, was the brainstorming. And it is a big year. And, you know, at some point, a lot of people expected season 10 to be a returnee season. But with having to take a year off with COVID, and then with the excitement that we got out of the season last year, we had 66,000 hits last year.
Oh my gosh.
And so we were just felt like we had too much momentum to stop to pick up a returnee season. We felt like we need to move forward, but yet we still want to make season 10 the unique season that we think it's going to be by looking in the past, looking at the present, and even thinking about the future. So we're going to blend all three of those a little bit.
Well, let's talk about that because I remember production did 2 seasons in 2019 and 2 seasons in the summer. It's a lot. And I think you all decided, like, let's take 2020 off, which was amazing foresight because 2020 was COVID, right? And so no one was doing anything that year. And that gave you all the rest you need to come to 2021, do season 9, Bluff Ranch. It was a fantastic season. And like you said,
thank you.
66,000 hits. That's incredible.
It was. We had a lot of following last year. And we hope to have the same this year. You know, we always worry about is Facebook Live the best way to reach the audience, because we know there are some other venues that we could use, and we may try to look at some of those this year to incorporate some other ways to draw in a little bit larger audience. But you know, it worked for us, and I personally like it being live and following it as it goes. Now we know you sometimes have a hard time keeping it in sequential order, but we're going to try to work on that some this year as well.
I mean, I think you can talk to the numerous live reality game hosts out there who are sitting on footage. It takes a while to edit and to package and to push out. And one of the joy of the live experiences, it's out there immediately. And I think you all have done a great job, especially last year, with the coverage of all the players. And you know, speaking of season 9, like looking back at season 9, what were some of the triumphs that are your favorite moments of the season that you were like, that got you really excited or pumped up for season 10?
Well, let's see. There's a lot, there's a lot of like moments I enjoyed, and there's also aspects to it I enjoyed. I can list countless moments, but some of the things that I thought were really successful was kind of to what you mentioned just a second ago, Stephen. We took that year off with 2020, and we came back for 2021. You have that lingering thought. Okay, did we lose our touch, right? Or is this the one where people are not going to be interested? And thankfully that didn't happen, and people still came back, and we had a great crew, and we had a phenomenal cast, and I just hope we can keep that momentum going into this new season.
Yeah, and I think for me, it sounds so cliche, but when you watch these people come in on day 0 or day 1, and you see how they leave on day 8, and you see the transformation, you see and you hear them say, I just didn't expect this. This was like real. And they come in with all these preconceived notions of what they're going to do. And some of it works, some of it doesn't. But I think for me, the highlight is just seeing how they leave the game. Everyone from first boot to the winner leaves Reelfoot a different person. I mean, it's just cliche. I'm sorry, but that's why I keep coming back, is to watch them from day 1 to day 8 and how they change.
And I want to piggyback off that as well, just to add to that. Season 9, not that any other season isn't, just season 9 was just a really fun time. I really just enjoyed how it played out. I enjoyed the fun that was brought to it. It was kind of nice, not only for me, but I think for the whole team, production team, coming off of such a tragic year that 2020 was, to just have a sense of fun and a sense of getting to be with new people and new experiences again was just a really uplifting experience. And I'm thankful we're able to do it again this year.
And Stephen, you might go there here too, but I'm going to jump one more time.
Let's do it.
The production staff. Nobody can really appreciate the Reelfoot production staff unless you're there day in and day out. We have a huge staff.
Yeah.
I mean, and these people pay to come work.
Right.
We rent this new location. And of course they get a lot for their money. They don't pay an exorbitant amount, but they get a shirt and they get a free place to stay and 3 meals a day. But they actually, are coming to work. But we have our media team now, our challenge crew, the hospitality, the tribe handlers. It's just amazing to watch these people, and all their hearts are in it, because all of them are alumni, except for one. That's another story. But our production crew, they make the week, and at the end of the week, they also have had fun and are already talking about, can I do this again next year?
I mean, if it's fun for us watching it on Facebook, it's got to be a lot more fun being there and watching things play out and discussing, like, what do you know? What have you heard? What's going on?
They all love, and I love it too, but they love getting to be there and have information there in person. It's definitely a lot of fun, because we'll be like, can you believe so and so said that or made that move? It's a lot of fun.
And you look at where Amos started. If you watch YouTube on season 1 and 2, and that little dab of 3 that might have fallen out there somewhere, we are such a different, unique character now than we were then. But look back at that. Amos pulled that off by himself, with designing those challenges. As primitive as they were, the game was still there. The elements of the game were still there. And now look at where we are, where we have people designing and creating brand new challenges. And we have a production crew coming across the United States, start flying in a week from today. And some are even arriving on Thursday that are driving in from out west. And then all of that will come together. How far Amos has brought this from 1 to 10 is phenomenal.
It's one of the things that's truly, honestly, inspiring to work with Amos as long as I have, and I've been fortunate to, is he is never content with just saying, all right, I'm happy with where we are. Let's just repeat it over and over. He's always looking, what is the next step to do better? How can I improve in this aspect? He always asks that question. That's the first question he asks as the season ends. What can we do better for next time? And it's just, and that's why I think the quality's gotten better as each season passes.
One of the things I enjoyed last season, and Pete, you were a big part of this, was your surplus store. And so I felt like it was Survivor Reelfoot drawing a little inspiration from season 40, bringing in currency, but the surplus store was very entertaining. Maybe you can't talk about this, but will we see a return of that?
We could give him a little preview of that, couldn't we, Parker? Maybe.
We can give a little maybe a hint. Here's what I'll say.
Okay, say.
Here's what I'll say.
I just look forward to that, because one of the things I enjoy is not only just like you operating it, but just the sheer list of things you had in there, right? It was like, I love the variety, and just kind of, there was like a charm and wit to the things you
offered. And see, when I was
well.
doing that, Stephen, I wasn't even aware anyone was watching that. When Skylar started haggling with me, she thought she was getting me, and her Jeff was so excited on production. Skylar got you. I coveted that. I wanted somebody to deal with me, and so I wanted it. It's exactly what I wanted to happen. Was somebody would say, "Well, would you do this?" Because that's me in real life.
And in all honesty, Stephen, it's funny you bring up the currency from the Survivor All Winner season with fire tokens. That did play a little bit in when we were making that twist, but we didn't want to completely redo it. We kind of wanted to take the basis of that, an in-game currency, but make it our own, right? And add it to our theme of the season. That's how it became the surplus store. And I love just one of the things that's fun is, like Peter's saying, when you have a twist like that, is I think Survivor thrives on its cast and its characters, and you get to see all the different personalities. Like you see Skylar is willing to haggle. You see Todd, who, a lot of people had opinions on this. He didn't take the advantage, but that's his, that's his personality.
But do you remember his phone call?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, when he got to buy a phone call. That was amazing.
I just love all the different personalities, trying to do something. It's all the same objective, Stephen, just buying items. It's so simple, and yet we got so much character out of it, and it enhanced the gameplay for better or for worse for some people's games. So I'm glad you enjoyed it, because that was what we were hoping for with a twist like that, and I think it worked out very well. Will we see it in the future?
I mean, my takeaway is that Pete will bargain, but much like Jeff Probst, be careful.
Right.
Sometimes the bargain might not work out in your favor. Well, because I'm thinking, like, season 42 just wrapped up. Season 41 and 42 have been very interesting they felt the most like a live reality game of maybe of all the seasons we've seen, with just the things they've tried to do with the interesting idol twist, the journey idol mechanic with the extra votes. And again, you probably don't need to say anything right now, but I'll be really curious watching to see, did that inspire anything with what we see in Reelfoot? Because I always think you all do really fun, interesting things that the show is never brave enough to try. I'm thinking, like, for instance, season 8, everyone starts with an extra vote. That's always feel everyone's like, what would happen if that's the case? So you don't have to say anything, but I'm very excited to see what inspiration season 41 and 42 had on this upcoming season.
We'll have some surprises for you.
Well, and it's also just such an interesting point in Survivor, because when we did season 9, 41 and 42 hadn't aired yet. So, and as you know, Stephen, Survivor, these last 2 seasons, their whole brand is the game has evolved, and
drop the 4, keep the 1.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like they have a lot of new tools in the chest to play with, and add to the game, and they've tried new things. Does that influence how we put on Reelfoot? We'll just have to see.
I'm super excited for y'all. The final 4 fire making constantly, the do or die twist every other round. These are great things that'll help Reelfoot so much. Please don't do that. Please don't.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of talk about location. Is this season going to be in the same place as the previous season?
It is.
Okay.
We've had some ups and downs with our location. We do love that location. We do lease that, and after last year, the owners raised our lease to an area to an amount that we could not afford, and so we were looking for another location and found one. But my heart just wasn't in it. And I just kept going back to the old location. And so I remember waking up one Monday morning and thinking, this new location just isn't going to work. And I reached out to the old owner one more time. It was like my last ditch effort. And he said, okay. I said, what? He said, okay, you can do it. I said, are you serious? And so we do have our old location back. And, we're super excited about that. It's a beautiful location. We have great accommodations for production, which I know the game's not about production, but it does make it comfortable for them. Now, the campsites they've done some work on the property since last season, and they have actually made the trails even more defined. So we have great trails to our location. We actually had some areas that we could look at creating some new campsites. Some of them turned out to be too close to each other. So in other words, it's kind of, you just have to get out there. It's a 300-acre farm. Now, it is known for rattlesnakes. You may or may not know that.
I did not know that.
Yes, and we do warn all of our cast. This whole area in West Tennessee, known as Hornbeak, is well known for rattlesnakes. We did not see a rattlesnake last year, but we did see a copperhead. And we've already killed 2 snakes on the property, 2 venomous snakes already this year in the mowing process. But neither of them were rattlesnakes. So we do warn our cast. I mean, this is a live environment. It's real. This is not staged. We are in the elements of the wild. They have to be very careful, know their environment. But it's a great location.
Yeah, we truly, like, even in the interviews, we did this for last season as well, but for the interviews for this season, we were really transparent about what to expect in the area that we're at. And you've played it, Steven. There's nothing phony about it. There are still, and it's not, it doesn't bother me, but we still get the occasional comment of people thinking that some aspects of the game are staged, and it's just
go watch season 8 footage. If you think it's staged, go watch season 8. The incessant rain. I was just
worried about the rain
to watch.
Again.
Really,
I'm worried about the rain, Stephen. We are wet. The trails are wet. Everything out there is wet right now. There's mud. And we just can't get out of a rainy pattern here in West Kentucky, West Tennessee. We are in a rainy pattern, and I worry about it. I remember season 8.
We were very fortunate last season when it came to weather. It did rain, and it rained hard, but it never rained again, and it was only for a couple of hours. After that, it was sunny. Now, granted, they had to deal with mud for the rest of the week, but it was sunny for the rest of the week. So that was good, but you never know with the weather. I mean, it rained for a couple of days in your season, Steven. Obviously, season 8 was a whole monster within itself. So the weather is always another factor that's completely unpredictable.
So what do you recommend for potential players who are watching this, or players who do want to play Reelfoot someday? What do you suggest to do to prepare for that kind of weather? Like a lot of rain, wet, cold. Like what do you say?
Great question.
I think it's a lot of mental. And I don't know if you can prepare for mental other than to be informed that is a possibility. I do think if you watch today's, we have a different alumni introducing each day. Today was day 8 till the game started. Tony from season 7 in production. Tony was 8 or 7? 8.
He was. He had to do Tony. Terrible rain, so he knows firsthand.
Yeah, but anyway, he did a great commentary today about think about your clothes. Think about your clothes. Are you really ready to go out into the woods for 8 days with all you could face? And
brought a terrible jacket to Reelfoot. It was waterproof, which was good, but it was this very light waterproof jacket, so it provided me no warmth at night. And so I woke up every day at 3 a.m. shivering. I was like, that's it. I'm awake now.
So I
That
don't
was
know
a
how you
regret.
can prepare, but plan your clothes and get
Mhm.
into a mental space where you can, be ready for the elements, whatever they throw at you.
And I don't know if this is known to necessarily the general public who watches Reelfoot. The alumni know this. We do provide a packing list that people have to abide by if they're going to play. So,
Mhm.
you can only bring clothes that fall within that packing list. But I think Pete hit it on the head. It's just a mental thing. You have to know who you are and what you're capable of, and we watch the real show on our couches, eating snacks, and we're like, oh, I can do that. But
Armchair
it's like,
quarterbacking. It's an
until
art.
you're actually out there, can you do
Yeah.
it? And that's just what people have to remember. It's a mental thing. It's a mind thing. You just have to remember it's going to be over by the end of the week, and then 3 years from now it will be long gone, that time of your life. So it's just a mental thing.
Now, are players still able to bring a lecture item?
They are.
Okay. I mean, what's the most useful lecture item you've seen a player bring?
I will not answer that because I don't want people to get ideas for future seasons.
Darn.
That is all I will say about that.
I brought a yoga mat, and I brought the thickest yoga mat I could find that I could still pack with me, so I can at least not sleep on the ground, and that was great.
I like it. I like it when people bring their luxury items because it's their self. It's an embodiment of their character almost and their personality.
But
this
I
is
want
what
sleep.
they want to bring out there. So I never want to. We always want people to bring whatever they want as long as it's allowed.
Yeah. A lot of them want to bring survival stuff. We just have to, we turn those down. You can't bring, something that would be a survival item.
Yeah.
But
now, what if someone pulled a PG law where they make their own fishing hook earrings or flint buttons for their jacket and they smuggle in the game that way? Would you be mad or impressed?
Well, I would hope that we would do a good enough job going through their stuff on day one that we would see through that. But I mean, they can bring a fishing hook. It's not going to help them. There's no water to fish in. There's water, but not to fish in, right, Pete? So
right.
Now, you all mentioned casting before. Was there anything new or different you did with casting this year, or how did casting go as a process?
This is my opinion. Pete may have a different answer. I think a lot of it was a similar process as to season 9, how we did it. But at least for me, I always try to look inside myself and evolve what we need for to cast. Right? It's like you have to remember, as somebody putting people out there, it's like you may have this type of person in mind to put out there, but you have to remember, is that best for the overall product? Is that the best for the overall cast just because you want it? So I just always try to look at it as objectively as possible, putting my personal opinion aside. Is this the right personality for this group as a whole? The cast is a puzzle. You have to get the pieces quite right. When we say that, people don't understand what we mean, and
it's an art.
Until you do it, it's kind of hard to understand what we mean by that. But if you've done it before, you know what we mean by each personality is a different piece of the puzzle. And sometimes we have great personalities, but they don't fit in this puzzle, and that's hard. It's always hard turning people down. But I think what I learned this year was, as each year I do this, and I'm fortunate enough to, I think I get a little bit better at being more objective. I'm never going to be perfect because I'm human, but I think I get a little better each year.
And I think he's right on that. I mean, I want to say this for people who might be watching. I mean, we interviewed some great people that we all liked, but they just didn't fit this cast. And that's hard for me sometimes because I want them all. But, and we started interviewing in August, 2 times a week.
Wait, last year, so soon?
Yes, we take July off, and we start interviewing in August, and we don't cast at the end of December. We interview twice a week, 2 to 3 a night. My wife says, will this ever be over?
We had to close apps a month earlier than we originally planned because there was just so many.
That's a great feeling.
It's a great problem to have, but it's exhausting.
But the one thing I wanted to say about that, just to give people encouragement that might not have made it either in 10 or in previous seasons, we have people that I'm so proud of that, just like on CBS, that continue to apply. And some of those are going to show up in this season because they fit.
Yep.
And so
And they
don't
didn't
give
quit.
up on us. If you don't get it the first time, let us hear from you again. And that we have a whole new cast that'll fit together. And so for these people who have stuck with us and keep coming back after being rejected, if you want to call it a rejection, they just weren't cast because they weren't the right personality, but they're going to show up. Some of them are going to show up this year.
And and Pete hit it on the head. He said it much better than I could. That's where I think the disconnect sometimes comes from, is they see it as, oh, we either didn't like them or they did something wrong. But that's where the disconnect. They didn't necessarily do anything wrong, and we did like them. It's just, one, you can only put on so many people. You can't put 50 people in a game. It'll take too long. At least Survivor. I know there are games.
Hey, isn't there like $1 million island with 100 players? Surely you can do that, right?
I played Mayhem Manor, which had over 30, but I don't know if you can do that in Survivor necessarily. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't put 50 in, and you also, when you talk to so many people, you can only put in a certain amount, and you have to find the pieces of the puzzle. So I hate that people, each time they don't get cast, think it was something wrong with them or we didn't like them. That's never the case. And if anybody's watching out there that didn't happen to get cast this year, I promise it wasn't something you did. Keep applying, and that's all I can say.
That's 100%. That's what I wanted to walk away with as well.
Now, as we're wrapping up, is there anything else you want to talk about this upcoming season, or anything else you want to say?
Well, I'll jump in there since I kind of anticipated that question, and Parker, you can jump in after this. I think you're going to love this season. You're going to see some brand new challenges that we've worked really hard on. They are extremely well done. Now we still have to make sure they're executed correctly, but the vision for these new challenges is amazing. I'm super excited to see how those pan out. You're going to see some favorites. You're going to see some twist of some favorites. But I think you're going to see a very diverse cast, and you're going to see a super fun cast. I keep saying super, sorry, but this cast is just falling together so well. And I say it every year, but I think this could be the best one. And but I say that every year, because we spend so much time with them. We cast them in December, and we've been working with them for 6 months now, getting them ready for this game to start arriving next Friday. And so I think people are going to love the cast. You're going to love some of the new challenges, some of the twists. Will it be the same as 9? I hope not.
Oh, I mean, I want every season to be unique.
No, we won't. It'll be a unique game.
Right, and that's kind of what I want to leave off with as well. It's like, yes, it is the same location as 9, and we're fortunate enough to have a lot of the same production crew. We have some new faces as well that we're very excited to see how they do this season. I'm very excited for the new production members, but there are a lot of ones from last season as well, which is awesome. But it will not be the same as 9, and I love 9, but this is going to take on its own personality. Steven, I think your season in 8, where they were on the same property and similar production teams, but I think those seasons are very different, have very different personalities to them. And I think that's what you're going to see with season 10. It's a great group. It's a great cast. It is not the same as 9. This is a great group of personalities. And like Pete said, we got some awesome new challenges. Our team has worked super hard to advance our challenges, and I'm so proud of them. And I think the players are going to get a kick out of playing them, and I think even the viewers are going to get a kick out of watching it. I'm very excited to see how those challenges play out, and I think it's just going to be a really fun time. And I'm super excited that we can do it again, and I hope as many people and even more tune into it as they did last season, because I really do think we have a fun game coming up.
I do too.
Well, I just want to say once again, thank you both for the time to come talk about your upcoming season. I'm very excited. For those who want to watch, Reelfoot will be streaming through their Facebook page on Surviving Reelfoot on Facebook. So check it out there. From the Live Rally Games podcast side, I'm planning, and Parker, if you're still free, to sit down with and do a cast assessment with you on Saturday once the game begins, so June 4th. We also plan on doing kind of a mid-season recap once the merge hits, whenever that may be. And also, I hope to do some impromptu at evening wrap-ups with some Reelfoot alumni. So I'm looking forward to having that come together.
Great.
And
That'd be
finally,
awesome.
postseason, I am very excited to talk to this cast and hear about their experience and kind of dig into what made the season tick and how each player's game happened. So prepare for the Reelfoot marathon of content and get excited.
Yeah, you're
Thank
gonna
you,
love
Steven.
it. You're gonna love it, Steven.
Yeah. So
Thank you for
again,
having us, Steven. I appreciate
Parker,
it.
Pete, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and there is more to come. So get ready for it.